Hi there, my name is Paulo Lourenço. I'm a Portuguese assistant teacher in marketing for Leiria's Polytechnic Institute. Um, I teach a course on advertising for our undergraduate marketing for tourism degree, and Kogan asked me to give my opinion on this new book, Essentials of Advertising, by Robert Cluley, and I'll talk a bit about this. It's a very interesting approach, and I think it's an innovative one. I can tell you what this book is not about. For starters, it is not a creativity book, and it is not one of those will teach you how to make ads book. No, nothing like this. It does broach a lot of subjects to do with advertising. It proposes the importance of a new study area that Robert calls advertising studies, and I think that's very important for me because I also like to research some stuff in advertising, but it is not a how to do ads book. Now this is particularly useful for my students, and I will tell you why. Because they're in the marketing for tourism degree, but most of them won't pursue a career in advertising. They'll be marketing executives, product managers and stuff, and so they will deal with advertising executives and creatives and production directors. They will deal with these people, and they will have to hear pitches, they'll have to propose briefings, and they'll have to evaluate advertising executives' work. And this is where I think this book is very important, because it creates a sort of critical mind towards advertising. Let me start from the beginning. Beginning of each chapter you got objectives in the summary, and at the end you have other bibliographical sources, other avenues to pursue in knowledge. So that's only a sort of a formal point, but in the contents you see that the author always tries to divide the ideas in two big groups. You see, for him there is not only one perspective on advertising, but for most of the subjects we can find two different perspectives. Let's say we have irrational and emotional, we have scientific advertising and persuasion advertising. Robert Cluley understood that it falls to the reader and it falls to the researcher, to the professional, to choose the perspective that he finds most useful to each situation. Then he has a chapter that is very useful to me, the chapter on agencies and organizations. I teach a course on advertising one semester, and I have a lot of content for my students, and this is the part that I find very valuable. The industry, the agencies, how does this work? How is the work divided into functions? This is very useful for my students, so this is a very good chapter to me. Then he also talks about the economics of advertising, about does advertising really make money, or can we justify advertising? Can brands justify what they spend in advertising? Also a refreshing approach. And then he makes a sort of, there's a set of chapters where he tries to synthesize different approaches to advertising that I already saw in other books, like cultural studies, media studies, psychology and sociology. This is more or less the bulk of the book. It gives us these perspectives to show us that there can be different frameworks to see advertising, to study advertising. And it might seem a bit too academic, but I believe that it develops a student's critique. And for myself, this is the quality that I find it most hard to develop in students, their critical mind, the critical aspect.